Did you know that one man is credited with spreading Christianity to the Germanic tribes? It might be hard to imagine now, but there was a time when the heart of Europe, Germany, was a land of sacred groves, tribal gods, and fierce resistance to foreign influence. Christianity had not yet taken root. Paganism ran deep. The tribes were proud, independent, and steeped in rituals and beliefs that stretched back centuries. But then came one man, a monk from Anglo-Saxon England, who believed that these people were not beyond reach. His name was Saint Boniface, known today as the Apostle to the Germans. His mission would shape the future of Christianity not just in Germany, but across Europe. Saint Boniface was born as Winfrith around the year 675 in the Kingdom of Wessex, present-day England. From a young age, he was drawn to religious life. His parents had hoped for a different path for him, perhaps a career in public service or trade. But Winfrith was insistent. He entered monastic life at Exeter and then at Nursling, becoming a highly educated monk. He mastered Latin, the scriptures, and theology, and he was soon ordained a priest. But something stirred in him beyond the walls of the monastery. Winfrith felt called to missionary work. To appreciate Boniface's work, we need to understand the Europe of the early 8th century. After the fall of the Roman Empire, Europe had splintered. Tribal groups filled the void of centralized Roman rule. In short, it was a dangerous place for a missionary. In 716, Winfrith, still using his birth name, embarked on his first missionary journey to Frisia. But it ended in disappointment. The next year, Winfrith made a fateful journey to Rome to meet Pope Gregory II. There, the Pope gave him a new name, Boniface, likely referencing the Latin word for doer of good, and commissioned him as a missionary to the Germanic peoples. This blessing changed everything. Boniface now carried the authority of the Pope. Boniface returned to Germania with a new strategy. He would build partnerships with Christian rulers, particularly the Carolingian Franks. Boniface focused on structure. He believed that evangelization was not just about winning hearts, but establishing order. His style of mission was systematic. He would convert the leader first, and then the tribe would often follow. One of the most famous and symbolic acts of Boniface's life occurred in Geismar, where the locals worshipped a giant oak tree dedicated to Thor. This tree was sacred. No one dared to harm it, for fear of divine retribution. Boniface, however, knew that symbols speak louder than words. In an act of extraordinary bravery, he took an axe and began to chop the tree down in front of a stunned crowd. According to legend, the tree fell swiftly, and Boniface was left unharmed. The people were shocked. If their god could not defend his own tree, then perhaps Boniface's god was stronger. That moment led to mass conversions. Boniface then used the wood to build a church dedicated to St. Peter, transforming a pagan site into a place of Christian worship. He founded the great monastery of Fulda, which would become a center of learning and missionary training. Even in old age, Boniface's missionary zeal did not diminish. At nearly 80 years old, he planned one final mission to Frisia. On June 5, 754, near Dockham, Boniface and 52 companions were ambushed by a group of armed pagans. He refused to fight back. According to tradition, he held up a gospel book in defense, saying, "Cease, my sons, from fighting. Let us put our hope in God." The sword pierced the book and then struck him down. The blood-stained book still survives, a silent testimony to his courage and his conviction. Boniface's body was taken back to Fulda, where it was buried. The site became a place of pilgrimage. He was canonized as a saint, and his feast day is celebrated on June 5th. His work laid the foundations for the Christianization of Central Europe. St. Boniface's story is not just history, it's a lesson. He reminds us that courage in the face of opposition and trust in God's power can change nations. He showed that evangelization is more than preaching. It's about building community, reforming institutions, and respectfully challenging cultural idols. He navigated political alliances without becoming corrupted by them. He upheld truth without being arrogant. He risked everything, including his life, for the sake of the gospel. In an age where faith is again challenged by secularism, disunity, and indifference, Boniface offers a bold model. Faith that works, faith that builds, faith that risks everything for love of God and neighbor. So what do you think? Would you have the courage to walk into a pagan village and challenge the gods of the age? What would it take for us today to have that same commitment, not necessarily to chop down sacred trees, but to stand firm in truth, serve with humility, and love with endurance? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed learning about the Apostle to the Germans, consider subscribing to our channel for more deep dives into the lives of saints, the history of Christianity, and the men and women who changed the world with their faith. Until next time, walk with courage, love boldly, and keep the faith. Thank you for watching.